If your brain feels full, start here. I have 3 ways to reduce decision fatigue for me. And remember, practice makes permanent. So when it feels weird, it's because it's different than what you've been doing. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean it's broken. It means it's new. So first, making plans before I go to bed. I do a weekly full plan reset. I've talked about it before. Happy to talk about it more. But every night I also do a quick check-in of, what's tomorrow's schedule? What activities do we have? What's going on with school? What's going on after school? And then I can make the decision before bed of what things need to happen. Now, I'm not necessarily super great. By the end of the day, I'm pretty tired. So I'm not great at doing things like making lunch for the next day. However, I like to go to bed already having thought about what the next day is going to be so that I can mentally prepare even if I don't physically prepare. So sometimes that's things like, what do I need to pull out of the freezer tomorrow? What uniforms do we need to have ready? Sometimes it might require making changes that night to prepare for the next day. And sometimes it's just getting myself ready for, what's my day tomorrow going to look like? What prep steps am I going to need to take? Am I going to need to stop work early? Things along those lines so that I can already have the plan going. So I'm less swirly during the day with my brain fixating on something. I've already thought about it. I've already accepted it. It's already part of the plan. Second thing I have to reduce mental fatigue is default routines. A lot of us have default routines that we don't even think about. And unfortunately, they're so default that they can be really hard to break. And sometimes they're not the best for us. This can be things like as soon as you wake up in the morning, you check your phone for notifications. And then you can go down, social media rabbit holes. It's not the best routine, but it might be a routine that you have. So I have implemented a few default routines, things basically I have done enough that they now become habit. And sometimes, I'm always working on updating these and changing these and evolving these. But things like getting ready for bed, my kids have set things that we do, and when they are set and consistent, it's really easy to fall into the routine of doing these things. It takes less reminding, less thought, less force, because the routine has become a habit. We just kind of flow through all the steps, and it takes less decision, less mental space, which is always helpful for mental fatigue. Last thing, I sometimes found myself so caught up in the swirl, kind of in my emotions, in my feels, that I could struggle with figuring out, what do I do next? Sometimes it would be things like I'm just stuck up against this wall. I really have no idea what to do. Sometimes it could be things like I'm so emotionally charged that I don't trust myself to make that decision. Is that really the right thing? Is that really what's going to move us forward? Whatever the thought is. So I developed my next best step website. It's real quick. There's, 4 questions, I believe it is, that basically you go through real quick, and it's, what is happening? The kids are fighting or being resistant to routine, or I got a handful of options there. How much time do you have? Is this a quick, 2 minutes or less solution? Is this something like, here's this mental thing that's bothering me about tomorrow, but I've got half an hour to invest to fix it. So you choose how much time you have, and you choose what's the main outcome, right? Is the main priority just safety? Is the main priority better communication? Is the main priority getting everybody into bed? Once you choose those 3 options, it auto-generates a suggested next best step. I've got dozens programmed in there. It could be things like, go to the bathroom, lock the door, take 2 minutes of deep breathing. It could be things like something to say to the kids to reset, something to say to a significant other. So it's got a handful of suggestions, and that helps when I feel like I cannot make one more decision right now, then the website can help me out. So those are some of my tips and tricks for reducing decision fatigue. So don't forget to follow for more content.